In a quaint village nestled among rolling hills, where the air always smelled of fresh grass and warm bread, lived a little girl named Mira. She had bright, thoughtful eyes that seemed to catch every detail, and long blonde hair that danced in messy waves down her back. Mira's simple long dress swayed gently as she walked, giving her the appearance of a dandelion seed floating on the breeze. But despite the beauty around her, Mira often found herself lost in the glow of her tablet screen. Her fingers would tap and swipe, her brow furrowed in concentration, yet her eyes held a distant look. It was as if the device that promised to connect her to the world had somehow disconnected her from the magic right outside her window. One lazy afternoon, as Mira sat on her porch hunched over her tablet, a sudden gust of wind rustled through the trees. It carried with it the faintest whisper, like pages turning in an old book. Mira's head snapped up, her curiosity piqued. Without a second thought, she set down her tablet and followed the breeze into the nearby forest. The woods were alive with dappled sunlight and the soft crunch of leaves beneath her feet. Mira's eyes widened as she pushed through a curtain of ivy and found herself in a hidden clearing. There, at its center, stood the most magnificent tree she had ever seen. Its trunk was thick and gnarled, but instead of rough bark, it seemed to be made of countless book spines stacked upon one another. The branches stretched out like welcoming arms, each limb ending in clusters of leaves that glowed with a soft, warm light. Mira gasped, her hand flying to her mouth in wonder. "Hello, little one," a gentle voice seemed to emanate from the tree itself. "I am the library tree, keeper of stories old and new." Mira took a tentative step forward. "But how can a tree talk?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The tree's leaves rustled with laughter. "In the realm of imagination, anything is possible. Come closer, and let me show you the magic of stories." As if in a trance, Mira approached the tree. She reached out a hand, her fingertips barely grazing the book-like bark. Suddenly, her forgotten tablet in her pocket began to glow and hum with energy. Startled, Mira pulled it out, only to find its screen alive with swirling colors and dancing words. "Your device is not just a window to look through," the library tree explained, its voice warm and wise. "It can be a brush to paint with, a quill to write with, a stage to perform on. Let me show you how to bring it to life." With a gentle creaking of its branches, the library tree extended a twig towards Mira. As it touched her tablet, the screen erupted into a burst of light. When Mira's eyes adjusted, she saw that her once boring apps had transformed into vibrant, living stories. "Now, little one," the tree whispered, "choose a tale and touch the share branch." Mira's finger hovered over the screen, then tapped a glowing icon shaped like a leafy twig. To her amazement, a shimmering golden leaf detached from the library tree and floated gently down, landing on her tablet. The story she had chosen began to play out in miniature, right before her eyes. "Watch closely," the tree urged. As the tale unfolded on Mira's screen, more golden leaves began to drift from the library tree. They floated on invisible currents, some landing on the ground nearby, others carried off by the wind. Wherever they touched down, Mira saw a spark of light, another child's device coming to life with the shared story. "Do you see?" the library tree asked. "Stories are meant to be shared. They grow stronger, brighter when passed from one heart to another." Mira nodded, her eyes shining with understanding. She looked up from her tablet to see other children emerging from the woods, drawn by the library tree's gentle glow. Their faces lit up with wonder as they discovered the magic unfolding in the clearing. "Hello," Mira called out, waving to a small boy with tousled hair. "Come see, the tree can make our tablets tell stories." Soon, the clearing was filled with the sound of laughter and excited chatter. Children gathered around the library tree, sharing tales both old and new. With each story shared, the tree seemed to grow taller, its branches reaching higher into the sky, its glow becoming ever brighter. Mira found herself perched on a low branch, her tablet forgotten as she read aloud from a book that had sprouted right from the tree's trunk. Below her, a circle of children sat cross-legged, their eyes wide with wonder as they listened. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, the library tree's voice rose once more. "Remember, little ones," it said, its tone gentle but firm. The stories you carry in your hearts and on your screens are seeds of imagination. Plant them often, tend them with care, and watch as they grow into forests of wonder. The children nodded solemnly, clutching their now magical devices close. As they began to disperse, heading home with newfound excitement, Mira lingered for a moment. "Thank you," she whispered to the library tree. "I never knew my tablet could be so dive." The tree's leaves rustled in a sound like soft applause. "The magic was always there, Mira. You just needed to learn how to see it." With a final pat to the tree's trunk, Mira turned to leave. As she reached the edge of the clearing, she looked back one last time. To her amazement, a single golden leaf detached from the library tree and floated towards her. It hovered for a moment, just at eye level, before drifting past her and out into the world beyond. Mira smiled, understanding the unspoken invitation. The leaf was a promise, a reminder that the magic of stories was not confined to this one clearing. It was everywhere, waiting to be discovered, shared, and brought to life. As she walked home, Mira's mind buzzed with ideas. Her tablet, once a source of mindless distraction, now felt like a treasure chest of possibilities. She couldn't wait to show her friends, her family, everyone she knew, how to unlock the magic hidden in their own devices. The village was quiet as Mira emerged from the woods, but to her it seemed more alive than ever. Each window glowed with warm light, and she imagined the stories being shared within. Perhaps some of those golden leaves had already found their way into other homes, sparking imagination and wonder. That night, as Mira lay in bed, her tablet resting on her nightstand, she didn't feel the usual urge to pick it up and scroll mindlessly. Instead, she closed her eyes and let her mind wander through the endless library of her imagination. She dreamed of magical trees, of stories that came to life, and of a world where every child knew how to turn cold screens into windows of wonder. And somewhere in the forest, the library tree stood tall and proud, its leaves glowing softly in the darkness. It waited patiently for the next curious child to stumble upon its clearing, ready to share the timeless magic of stories with all who sought it out. For in this enchanted village, and indeed in every corner of the world, the true power of technology lay not in its circuits and screens, but in its ability to connect hearts and minds through the ageless art of storytelling. And as long as there were children like Mira, eager to explore and share, the magic would continue to grow, one shimmering leaf at a time.